There were many conflicting reports today on Yasser Arafat's health. There were even rumors that he had died, and that is causing anxiety in the Middle East. ABC's Jeff Morrell reports from Jerusalem.
French President Jacques Chirac visited Yasser Arafat in the intensive care unit, but his office would not comment on the Palestinian president's condition. That fueled rumors already swirling that Arafat, a week after being airlifted to this French military hospital, is clinging to life. Israeli TV, quoting French sources, reports Arafat is brain dead, breathing with the help of a ventilator. But his French doctors tried to set the record straight.
Monsieur Arafat n'est pas décédé.
Mr. Arafat is not dead, his chief physician announced in Paris, but the 75-year-old's medical condition has become, quote, more complex. He would not explain what that means, citing Mrs. Arafat's request for privacy. Palestinian officials acknowledge he is in very serious condition, slipping in and out of consciousness, but they insist he is not dying.
He is not in a coma, he is not in a dangerous situation, but his condition is critical and serious, and he is still in need of more medical care.
Doctors have tested and retested Arafat and still can't find the cause of the mysterious blood and digestive disorders that have dogged him for 3 weeks now. Arafat has long said he wants to be buried at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, but Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon has made it clear he will not allow Arafat to be laid to rest anywhere in Jerusalem. In fact, Sharon, worried chaos may follow Arafat's death, has put security forces on high alert in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. The Israeli government anticipates at the very least huge Palestinian protests after Arafat dies, at the worst a violent power struggle among those who wish to succeed him. Though Arafat has refused to groom a successor, Palestinian officials insist there will be a smooth transfer of power whenever he dies. Jeff Morrell, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Now we'll measure the impact of the Arafat story. Farouk El-Baz joins us from Boston University. He served as an advisor to the late Egyptian President Anwar Sadat from 1978 to 1981. Farouk, thanks for being here. It's always good to have you with us. Obviously, any long-term incapacitation or death will, as we mentioned earlier, create a great deal of anxiety and angst in the Middle East. Talk to us about that.
It creates anxiety only because of the fact that people are used to having that individual as the leader for a very long period of time. When I thought about that myself, I was thinking now we're getting back to the times of ancient Egypt. Pharaoh rules until he or she dies, and then is mummified. I mean, it's amazing, because people get used to that face, and getting used to that face representing them for a very long period of time, especially the young ones. Meaning that there are people that now in the 30s that have not known anybody as a leader except Arafat. So that is why it becomes a problem.
But the Pharaoh, we knew his son would succeed him, I assume, when the Pharaoh was laid to rest. What kind of succession process is there? There's no democracy, obviously. I mean, no democratic process. How does one determine what comes after Arafat, and how long does it take to get there?
In the Palestinian National Council, there are several people way ahead on the top of the group that any one of them would be good enough. And at least in the Palestinian National Council, since they actually, the population in Palestine elected Arafat, so that this means that the president can be elected, which can be elected within this Palestinian National Council, and they will do that this time too.
We're told that the Palestinian Prime Minister, Ahmed Correa, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, has already taken over at least some financial control from Arafat.
Yes, Mr. Correa is a reasonable man who has been in a position to speak for the Palestinians even during Arafat's time, and he certainly is capable, and he is known within the Arab world. He's known to the Israelis, he's known to the international community, so I really think he can take control right now of the things that need to be done.
Now, Israel and to some extent the United States have sort of shunned Arafat, but in a conversation I had a couple of weeks ago with former Prime Minister Shimon Peres, he said that they can do business with Ahmed Correa.
Definitely. The Israelis would be able to do business with Correa. I think the intransigence of Arafat was an obstacle, because he wanted to please everyone within the Palestinian community, and the Palestinian community has all kinds of factions, and he would speak to all of them, and he wanted to make everyone happy.
But let's assume he has credibility with the Israelis, as you said before, and maybe Abu Mazen, the short-term prime minister, is another likely successor. Do they have enough credibility with the Palestinians to bring them along in any settlement?
Yeah, that remains to be seen. What kind of what is what kind of Palestinians you're talking about? I really think within the leaders of the Palestinian community, yes, they would be. There are groups within the Palestinian community that would object to anyone. Maybe members of Hamas, maybe members within groups within Gaza, and so there are people within Palestine proper that would object to whoever.
You know, Farouk, the conventional wisdom, I think, is that the Israeli leadership and the Israelis in general look forward to a post-Arafat time. However, isn't it also true that when Arafat is so much identified as the problem, that when Arafat disappears, the pressure builds substantially, including coming from the United States, on the Israeli leaders to settle with the next Palestinian, even if the terms aren't what the Israelis want them to be?
I really think so, and I really think from now on, Mr. Sharon should be on watch, because he will be considered the problem. Because right now...
If there's no deal post-Arafat.
That's true, because right now everybody, including myself, kind of blamed Arafat for a lot of it. But from now, if Arafat is out of the way, then Mr. Sharon will be the problem.
Another potential problem is developing if and when Arafat eventually passes away, if he hasn't already. Sharon has made it clear that under no circumstances will he be buried anywhere in Jerusalem.
I think that was an uncalled for comment. I mean, he's making a big deal out of that. What if this is said of Sharon or some other leader within Israel, that he cannot be buried within the land of Israel or anything like this? I think that's childish.
Now, as you know, in Ramallah for the last couple of years, 2.5 years, essentially Arafat, he's been a virtual prisoner there. If and when, well, obviously he's going to die eventually, but if he were to die in the short term, Arafat, are Israelis going to be blamed for that death because of the confinement that has existed for the last couple of years?
No, I really think within the Palestinian community, people have known that Arafat was sick, and today he's as good as dead. So it's a matter of knowing then that his health deteriorated so much that he died of old age, and I think that they will accept that. They will not blame it on anyone.
All right, we'll go global next to look at the reaction in the world, including the Arab world, to the re-election of President George W. Bush.
This portion of news